What's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. If you are here for the first time, do not forget to hit that subscribe button because, you're gonna want to stick around. Today I have something a little different for you. I haven't done something like this in a long time. I am going to do a hair tutorial on how I do my go-to loose wave hair look. A couple of you mentioned when I asked here on YouTube that you would like to see a tutorial on that. And a few of you have been asking for like literally 6 months on Instagram, so I figured it was finally time to break down and do a tutorial on my go-to messy wave hair look. Before we get started, I would just like to disclaim, I am not a hairdresser. I am not a hair expert in any sense of the word. This is just how I do it. This is how it works for me. Obviously, if you have like a really different hair type to mine, then this might not really be an option for you. If you have like super duper coarse curly hair, or if you have like short hair or like super duper thin fine hair, you could try to get it done, and I'm sure that you could achieve something similar. It just might take an entirely different process to get there. So I tried as much as I could to give instructions for different hair types, but like I said, I'm not a hair expert, so I'm not really versed in the best ways to deal with other hair types other than my own. Like I know a little bit, but I'm not like amazing at it or anything. So I'm sorry. I wish that I knew more, but I just don't. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but this hairstyle usually lasts me about 5 days before I need to wash it again, which is wonderful because I hate styling my hair. I also would like to warn you in advance that I do use a ton of products in this video, and I know that some of you are going to be annoyed with that, but I think it is really key to getting the hair to behave the way you want it to, and to getting the hair to remain that way over several days without washing it and restyling it. Product is key. Like I said, I'm not a hairdresser, but I was actually raised by a hairdresser. Shout out to mom if you're out there. Hi mom. So I do have some knowledge of how hair works, and rule number one is product, product, product. So unfortunately, if you do not want to be using a lot of products, I don't know what to tell you. That's the way it works for me. I've never really experienced it working for anybody without product being used. So I think it's really important. Obviously, if you can find like drugstore alternatives to these products and they're more affordable for you, that works too. But the key is actually using products that keep your hair in place and also keep your hair workable and with body and manageable without making it sticky, all that stuff. I just realized I have lip gloss on my chin. I think that's everything you need to know before we get started. So we are going to rewind back in time to when I had just washed my hair and get started working this mop. So before I do my hair today, I'm going to put a mask in my hair. I don't do this every time I style my hair, but I do it every now and then, and I wanted to include it because you guys are interested not only in how I style my hair, but also in like why my hair looks like nice and shiny and good all the time, and I think that this is a big part of it. I don't necessarily think that this specific mask is like particularly amazing, but I do like it. This is the Tony Moly Haeyo Mayo hair mask. As you can see, this looks like a bottle of mayo, like exactly like a bottle of mayo. And to be honest, I bought it just because it looked so weird and interesting that I had to. But as it turns out, it's actually a pretty nice mask. I've used it a few times now. It does not smell like mayo, I promise. Maybe like once every week and a half, 2 weeks, I'll do a mask. Sometimes it's this. A lot of times I use the Phyto Citrus mask, I think is the one that I like. Even if you take really good care of your hair, if you don't really abuse it, it still gets a little dry toward the ends, especially if it's long, especially if you don't have oily skin, things like that. So it's good to just replenish that moisture on the ends every now and then. So with this product, I take about 2/4 worth, like in my palm like this. I rub it together and I run it through my hair from about my ears down. I don't like to put thick masks like this in the top of my hair for 2 reasons really. One of the reasons being that it kind of seems to weigh my hair down, and I have fairly flat hair to begin with, so I don't want anything at the roots that's going to make it more flat. And the other reason being, you don't really need it at your roots. The hair that's like on the top of your head is much younger than the hair at the bottom. obviously. So therefore it's taken less abuse, it's been less dried out, it's probably been dyed fewer times if you color your hair. And also, it's closer to your scalp, so it just gets more of the natural oil. So you really just don't need it up there. So I just put this in, I leave it in for about 15-20 minutes. I just chill for a bit, do whatever it is I have to do, maybe do a face mask too if the mood strikes, whatever. Just go about my life and let this kind of sink in for a while. They do have a version of this mask that is meant to be left in your hair overnight, and it's called the haeyo zayo mask, I think, which I am dying to try because I really like overnight treatments because they're just so much more convenient if you're just gonna get up and go in the morning, you're gonna take a shower anyway, so it just works out well. So I'll let you guys know if I get that, if I like it. Keep me posted. For now, I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. I'm gonna drink the rest of my iced coffee and let this marinate in the ends, and then we will jump into the next step. Now that it's all rinsed out, I'm going to start prepping my hair before I blow dry it. The majority of the products that I use go into my hair before I actually blow dry it, and I only use like one, maybe two things after I blow dry my hair. So this is gonna seem like a whole lot of shit. And it is. There's a lot of stuff that I'm about to put in my hair. But that's it. After we blow dry it, that's pretty much it, except for like one thing that I only use sometimes. The first product I'm going to use is the Macadamia Healing Oil Spray. It's like a leave-in conditioning oil spray. It's a lot like a Moroccan oil type of a thing, but this is much lighter. It's made obviously of macadamia oil, as you can imagine, plus other things. This is the spray version though, and the spray version is much lighter than the original version, which I like because I have very, the texture of my hair is very smooth and fine, but I have a lot of hair, so it's very heavy. So for me, the priority is to have things in my hair that won't weigh it down. Otherwise, it looks like really limp. And I like to spray this in my ends very generously. This is light enough that I really don't have to worry about it getting too greasy. And I just kind of work that through my hair with my hand very casually. It's not like a serious thing. I just like to make sure that I get enough oil in my ends to keep it nice and shiny and healthy. So the next thing I go through my ends with is the It's a 10 Lite. This is a great leave-in conditioner. It's also the light version because, like I said, I don't want things weighing my hair down. It's a humidity protectant, so it kind of helps to keep your hair styled in humidity, which is a huge problem for me. And also, it has a built-in thermal protector, so if you heat style your hair, this is a heat protectant built in, which I usually tend to skip if I don't use it in my leave-in conditioner, so this works out really well. Now it's time to move on to the products that are helpful for styling the hair. The first thing I go in with is the Ouai Wave Spray. This I put in my hair from roots to ends, and I actually try to like section off my hair and put it through my roots as much as possible and as evenly as possible. This product adds texture without any grit, so it kind of gives like almost, I swear to God, this sounds so weird and I don't know how to explain it, but it almost gives like a rubbery effect to your hair, so it's really workable, but it doesn't feel dirty or gritty. If you put too much, it kind of feels a little bit sticky, but when I say too much, I mean like way a lot, because I put a lot in and it's usually fine. It's just only when I go like extremely overboard that it gets the sticky feel, but that actually kind of goes away after you blow dry anyway, so either way, it's not a big deal. So I'm just gonna roughly part my hair and spray this through my roots as evenly as possible, and then bring it through the ends of my hair as well. And then finally, the last styling product that I use while my hair is wet is the LivingProof Full Thickening Cream. I put about a quarter size amount in my palm. I rub that together in my hands, and then I start around the midsection of my hair, rub it in, and then move to the roots, and then move to the ends. I know you're probably like, oh my God, you just used 60 things in your hair, and I know, I totally did, and it's a little bit extra, but this also allows me to style my hair once a week and then pretty much not touch it except for like a little dry shampoo and a little backcombing. So I think it pays off. I don't know. To me, that's worth it. This is gross and I'm not going to give you a close-up on it because I can't get the fucking extra hair out of it to save my life, but this is the Wet Brush Pro. I bought a Wet Brush like 2 years ago and I fucking hated it because like the regular Wet Brush just has like soft, long bristles, which I guess makes sense because that's what doesn't damage your hair, but for me, I have so much hair that it wouldn't go through it. It would just bend and not brush through my hair, but the Wet Brush Pro has short, kind of more natural bristles underneath the long, flexible bristles, and I find that it gets my hair brushed out with a far less struggle than the actual original Wet Brush, and now I actually really like it. So I've been using this for a while and I dig it. If you didn't like the original Wet Brush, you should probably check this one out. I think it's much better. And now I'm just going to brush through my hair. At this point, I don't have to be super careful about it because it's like really easy to brush through it with all that leave-in conditioner in it. Generally speaking though, you want to start from the ends of your hair and work your way up in case there are knots to avoid damage. And I'm just gonna brush through the whole thing to make sure there are no knots before we blow dry, and also to help distribute the product as evenly as we can. Now that all of those products are in, I am going to do a rough blow dry on my hair until it is completely dry, as bone dry as I can possibly get it. The drier you get your hair before you style it, the more the style is going to hold, because water is the enemy of holding a style in your hair. So the more you get out, the better it's gonna stay. But it must be said, at this point, if you have straight hair, a rough blow dry like I'm about to do is the way to go. I actually try to like kind of almost scrunch my hair and like blow dry it into a wavier state than it actually naturally is in, because that helps me get a little bit more texture and body to my hair. But if you have naturally wavy hair, if you have naturally curly hair especially, you will want to, at this point, this is where you want to blow dry your hair straight. The smoother you can get your hair from a curly or wavy state, the closer you are going to be able to get it to the way that I'm styling it. Obviously, different hair textures are always going to sit differently no matter what you do, but that's kind of the way to get it to the same baseline. So if you have naturally very straight hair, do exactly what I'm gonna do. If you have naturally very wavy or curly hair, you are gonna wanna smooth that shit out.
Three hours later.
All right, now that my hair is completely dry, it is time to start styling. I am waiting for my straightener to heat up. Yes, this is a wavy hair look. I style my hair pretty much exclusively with my straightener. I have a really nice curling iron. I never use it. I just got used to styling my hair with my straightener years ago, and I never got better at styling it with a styling wand, curling iron, whatever you want to call it. So I just stick with that. I've heard that it's not as good for your hair to do it with the straightener all the time because it squishes it. But as you can see, things are going okay over here as far as my hair falling off. So I think we're okay on that front. And also, I think it actually makes it last longer because the extra pressure added kind of like really like kind of seals that wave in there. So I don't know, maybe that's wrong, but that's what I do. While that's heating up, I'm going to section my hair, and I don't section it like super duper like carefully. I just really separate it in half to start with. I separate the top from the bottom, separate the bottom into two sections and just pull them over each shoulder because I'm going to work on each side separately. And I like to have like a little clip like this around to kind of hold one piece out of the way while I work on another section. Sometimes I don't do that, I do it a little bit more haphazardly, but for the sake of showing you guys like the most proper way that I do it, we're gonna clip it. Are we warm yet? Ooh, yes we are. If you want to create waves in your hair using your straightener, it's all about like the motion that you're twisting your hair in. So I can't really explain it, but you're gonna see it. So you could just kind of copy the little twisty motion that I'm doing. Pick up my straightener, and I like to place the straightener as high up on the head as I can get it, and then curl the hair toward my head and then bring it down. And then I slide the straightener through to the bottom and then just let it fall. It creates a very, very loose wave, Then what I do is I take the hair and I kind of twirl it in the direction that that wave goes. The twirling it part makes it last longer, and it also, like, pulling it at the end, it makes it look less like prom hair and more of, like, you know, like normal cool girl waves, if you will. So I'm gonna grab the next section and I am going to do that in the opposite direction. So this time it's gonna be toward my face instead of away. And I always like to make sure that I do the section closest to my face, swirling away from my face, because I feel like that just frames your face better. How many times can I say the word face? So now it's the same process as before, except that with these upper sections, you want to make sure that the actual root of the hair lays nicely, even though sometimes the curl isn't necessarily going in the direction that, like, forms to your scalp. You know what I'm saying? You want the hair to lay that way. So I always grab the straightener at the base and kind of curl it in the direction at the base that, like, is the smoothest to my head, then go through the rest of it like I did before to create the wave. This is usually, like, just about where I part my hair these days. I find that it's just the most flattering right now. Sometimes I feel like a center part is more flattering, but lately this way has been more flattering. So I'm just going to section this middle section off on its own for a sec and use that small clip to hold it back. And I'm just going to style this piece on this side of the head, and then also style that piece on that side of the head. But first I gotta do this one, and it's just too much in the way. Gotta get it out the way. And for these front pieces, I am going to do them all going away from my face. Like I said before, you want to kind of create a frame around the face. You don't want to be having little pieces curl. I mean, I guess if you're doing like a really messy look, you could totally get away with having some pieces curl toward your face. But when you're doing it like this, like more like smooth, swoopy, pretty waves, I just think it's the best way to go. Okay, so now all of the waves are in the hair, and you're probably thinking, bitch, you look like little Bo Peep. Those are not big, soft, bouncy waves. You have to brush through them. So when you twirl them back, you just kind of let them set that way, but then when you brush through them, it loosens them up and makes them more waves rather than curls. So that's what we're gonna do now. We are just going to brush through. Again, I'm just gonna use the same wet brush and brush through my whole hair. And as you can see, it still gives you like a soft, bouncy kind of a wave, but because we did them in two different directions, it kind of gives a little bit more of like a undone, I didn't try so hard sort of a vibe while still being really polished. And now really, realistically, you could just leave it there, but I like to take one more step and add a little bit of grit to the roots because, like I said, my hair has a tendency to get really flat, so I like to add stuff into the mix that makes it less flat. This is the LivingProof Full Dry Volume Blast. This is not dry shampoo, although it kind of has like a little bit of a dry shampoo effect if you need it for that as well. It is just like a dry texturizing spray, and I like to just lift up my top sections and just spritz a teensy tiny bit under each section. Basically what this does is take your hair from feeling like freshly washed day 1 hair to about day 2 or 3 hair, which we all know is the best hair. You want to make sure you don't forget the back. Obviously that already gave me a lot more volume at my roots, and it also kind of helps the volume last at the roots a lot better over time, so I do enjoy it for that. And finally, my final move is I take this one top section of my hair, I take my brush, nothing special, I don't use a special comb for this, but you totally can, and I just back comb this one section so that it doesn't get floppy, because this is the one section that likes to fall down and make my hair look like Morticia hair. And that, as you can see, helps prevent that. I probably should have thought about the fact that you couldn't really see it against a black t-shirt the way I was doing before, but it's too late now. I think you guys still got the point. It didn't really need to be, you didn't really need to see the ends sitting on my titties, you know what I mean? Generally speaking, this hairstyle will last me probably about 5 days. That is part of why all the products are so convenient, because those products help the style stay. Usually I just sleep with it up in a very loose bun on top of my head. I know that's not great for breakage, but I can't not sleep with a bun with my hair being this long. I'll choke my husband. So yeah, I just tie it up in a loose bun, and then the next morning I can kind of just like rework the roots a little bit and it's good to go. Usually my go-to move is, as it gets dirtier, I start to tease this side again in the morning and then tuck this piece here behind my ear, because then it just looks like more sleek. And then this piece is like all teased up so you still have volume and you don't have to worry as much about it looking like messy and sloppy when it gets a little bit more oil at the roots. The loose waves, believe it or not, do last really, really well. Generally on like day 2, I will start to use dry shampoo. I think I've mentioned before my favorite dry shampoo is the LivingProof dry shampoo, but I also really love the Dove Detox and Purify dry shampoo from the drugstore. It's only like $4 and it's really, really good. So if you guys are looking for a great dry shampoo, really highly recommend those two. I'll list them down below with everything else. I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial, and thank you guys for requesting this tutorial. I never would have really thought to do a tutorial on how I do my hair if so many of you hadn't asked over the weeks and months. I don't really consider myself much of a hair expert, but if you guys want to know how I do what I do, then it's my duty to show you. That's what I'm here for. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it really helps me out. I really would appreciate it. I would also really appreciate it if you subscribe before you left, because we could be like in touch here on YouTube all the time, and you can like watch my videos and leave me comments, and I'll be like, oh my god, I love you, and you'll be like, I love you too, and it'll be like a whole thing. Head over to Instagram and follow me, because I post tons of makeup looks and makeup inspiration type things on there every day of the week. It's also a really good way to get in touch with me, because sometimes YouTube does not like to send me notifications that you guys left me comments. So if I don't answer here, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram and I'll get back at you as quickly as possible. Let me know if there are any other hair tutorials that you would like to see. For instance, like my super duper messy mermaidy type waves that I do. I can also film that if you like the next time I style my hair. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next one.